Hello there, viewers, gamers, ladies and gents. I'm sitting here and I looked at the Arcas part of this part of VR on We Happy Few Uncle Jack Live, and I wanted to show you this part of the game, or VR app. But yeah, it's really cool. They have a lot of little videos and get you ready for the video game that's coming out, I think today or tomorrow. Either way, whenever I get my hands on it, we'll be playing it, and be ready and on the lookout for that. And let's go ahead and get into it, guys. I'm going to show you a Humor Hour 3 with Jack, and unlock some of these keys. But yeah, let's go ahead and start it off with some dark humor and dark comedy. Kind of what this game is about.
Hello. Welcome to today's edition of Humor Hour, the show where you tell me jokes. Well, actually, I tell the jokes, but you send them in. And the first joke comes from Mr. Prentice Gibson of Clapperton Down. Mr. Gibson says, what do you call three downers at the bottom of the sea? Not enough downers.
Definitely some messed up jokes, guys. To give y'all a heads up.
We're starting off very strong today, aren't we?
They don't like downers.
This one is from Brian E. Ditton of Collier's Lane.
This game's are people about being happy.
What's the difference between a downer and a trampoline? You take off your shoes before you jump on a trampoline. How true. How very true. I mean, you don't want to damage a perfectly good trampoline, do you?
Right?
Very good indeed. This is from Mrs. Jemima Hughes of Coronation Avenue. And her joke is, if you see a drowning downer, what do you throw him? I don't know, a brick, an anvil? Well, no, you can't very well throw an anvil, can you? What about a grenade? No. Who has grenades these days?
Right.
Another downer! I told you it was good.
I love his big bow tie.
That's wonderful. It's very good. You see, they both drowned. And here's another one. How do you save a drowning downer? Answer, who cares?
No one likes to be around drowners.
Lovely jokes. Lovely jokes today. Very funny indeed. And here's one from, not that one, no, this one here. It's from Clive Pritchard of Sladebrook Road. Mr. Pritchard, what do you have for us today? Question. How is a puppy like a mortally wounded downer? Answer. Eventually they'll both stop whining.
Wow, that's messed up.
Oh, Mr. Pritchard, you're quite a character, aren't you? Oh. You know, I miss my dog. What am I saying? I don't miss anything at all.
You got a pill for
I
that.
put it all right here.
I'm a drug to forget about that.
Yes, we have something from our dear friend and faithful contributor, Mr. Persky Blackyan. Yes, as you can tell from his name, Mr. Blackyan isn't actually a real Englishman. He's an Afrikaner from South Africa, but he's doing his patriotic best to fit in. So, what do you have for us today, Mr. Blackyan? Question. How is a downer like an apple? Answer. They both look good hanging from a tree. I'm not sure I get it. Oh.
He gets it now.
I see. Yes, very good. Hanging from a tree. And here's another one. What's the difference between a downer and a black plague? Well, one is a deadly organism that can destroy an entire city, and the other is a bacterium. Oh, very good. Well, I think it's going to be hard to top that one, but we must slog on, eh? It's one of our greatest English virtues. I have one here from Mr. Thomas Henchley of Longbottom Circle. What have you got for us, Mr.
Long bottom circle.
Question. Why do we bury downers 20 feet underground? Answer. Because deep Because deep down, they're really nice people.
That's ridiculous.
Deep down, yeah.
Jack liked that one.
I think that's the best one of all. It really is. Very good. Remember, no one has to be a downer. But if you feel a bit down, take your joy. And if you see someone who seems a bit down, make sure he takes his joy. It's as simple as that. Happiness is a choice. And those who won't choose it are a threat to the rest of us. If you hear a good joke, please don't hesitate to drop a note marked Humour Hour at our studio, 2 Marlborough House in central Wellington Wells. Yes, I'm afraid we've got to the end of our time. Tune in again next time for the best in humour. See you soon.
That's perfect little jokes for Jack. All right, let's go on to the next one, guys. These cool little archives. La 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 la. This is the place we're at. Like the lava lamp. Nice little music video. Thanks for checking the stream out. That's a pretty funny music video. Good song. Kind of like Beatles almost. Alright, on to the story trailer, guys. Just gonna go on down the line.
Truth is the enemy of happiness.
Can't wait for this game. It's gonna be awesome.
Isn't that the decision we all made?
Oh, but you know the truth, don't you? There's not a thing I can tell you that you don't already know. Is there?
Have you had your joy, Ollie?
People in town are getting a tad bit skinny. I think they're starving to death. And they're painting the streets in fucking rainbows. Have you not noticed?
Oh, Ollie.
Why are you all wearing those ridiculous new masks?
You should get one. They shape your face into a smile. And when you smile, you can't help being happy.
We have to tell people. They need to know the truth.
No! It's better not to know.
Wakey, wakey, everybody. And it's another fabulous day in Wellington Wells. Do what you should be doing, and you never have to worry.
Sally?
Arthur, we're practically the only 2 people in this entire city not stoned out of our minds on joy.
It's not
Right? Where is my Easter egg? Thanks for checking the stream out.
If you force people to have the emotions you want, then you've turned them into robots made out of meat.
Where is it? Where's the blackberry?
The story looks so interesting.
People won't face facts.
Not until we take their joy. And when we do that, they'll murder each other in the street.
Heck yeah, we happy for you guys. Can't wait. Tomorrow. So be on the lookout. I'll be streaming it too. And probably a couple thousand other people. So let's go on to the next one. Blast Off. Because it looks like an interesting game and totally different than when it first started off in Kickstarter about a year and a half ago. Thanks for the comments, guys. Nice trippy video. I've not got a chance to play the early access game. I wanted to, but there's so many other games I was playing. Everyone said that played it liked it, though. Like that seat back there, those lava lamps. That's cool. Those are different views. It's like surveillance. It's cool the streets turn colors. That'd be awesome. I love the art style of the game too. It's so cool. They did such a good job at it. So trippy. And I love the UK, so I would love to go to the UK too myself. That's all the drug shipments of the happy pills, I believe. It's a cool picture. This really brings you back to the 70s, you know? Of Great Britain or something. It's awesome. And the masks are so cool. Guess that's that. Moving on to the next one, guys. Wacky Wacky 1. Wiki Wiki 1.
And it's another fabulous day in Wellington Wells. The sun is up, and the weather is overcast and only slightly rainy, with occasional patches of lovely sunshine. Wakey, wakey, everyone. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear friends. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Jack.
Well, I hope you all had a lovely night's sleep with lovely dreams. It's shaping up to be a wonderful morning, and I think I can promise you that it's just going to get better all through the day. We all forget things from time to time. So don't forget the most important thing. Is it your tea? Is it your muesli? Is it bacon and eggs? Is it toast? Did you forget to butter your toast? No, don't be silly. It's your daily joy. Never forget to take your joy, and I guarantee your day will go swimmingly.
The joy pills.
So, let's take a look at today's schedule. What's going on in the village of Hamlin? Well, chatting and greeting and smiling and laughing, of course, and breakfast, lunch and dinner, and work, 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 work. But at 3, I hope you'll all take a quick break for our daily recreational activity. Today we will all gather round the telly for a rousing round of Simon Says. Well, I won't be gathering round the telly. I'll be in the telly. Just like every day, I'll be playing it with you. And then there'll be cake and prizes for all winners, and everyone's a winner, and everyone will be there. So don't miss it, or you're a rotten egg.
Can't wait.
But seriously, unless you have an awfully good reason, such as 2 broken legs, do be a sport at 3 o'clock, won't you? We love your company. And now, the hot new song from our favorite band. See you soon.
That was it, guys. I got a key. Use key to unlock. Oh, heck yeah. Alright, so I hear you. Let's see what that is. See what that's all about. Another video of Jack. Happy Jack.
And now it's time for I Hear You, the part of our show where Jack Worthing, that's me, answers your letters and questions about our life in Wellington Wells.
He does such a good job.
My first letter is from Mrs. Emily Cluley of Falkland Road. Dear Uncle Jack, I adore your show and thank you for answering my question. I have a big Victorian bed that my husband inherited from his grandmum, but most nights he crawls off to sleep in the small bedroom in the small bed we have there. He promises that it's not because I snore, but he won't say why he does, and I'm not sure he even knows. He seems a little sad. What should I do? Dear Emily, may I call you Emily? Your letter is quite touching. You know the answer, don't you? Yes. You see, if he seems a little sad, there's only one possible answer. He's off his joy of it, isn't he? Yes. You must encourage him to take his pills, even if he seems a bit defiant. Take him to a doctor. There's no sense in sleeping in a rickety little bed in a small room when you can sleep in a proper English bed in a proper master bedroom. And quite frankly, even if you did snore, if he's taking his joy, then he should sleep soundly regardless. Just make sure he falls asleep before you do, and you both should be fine. Thank you for writing, Emily, and do keep me posted about your progress. Well, that's a bit of a dreary letter, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Forget I read it, will you? Let's take a look at another one, shall we? This one is from Mrs. Purdy Robbins Handley of Oldfield Park. Dear Uncle Jack, my husband won't take off his happy face at home. He won't even take it off in bed. He's that healthy. He says he has nightmares if he takes it off, but it's a little but it's a little creepy in it. She actually wrote in it. And she says, I mean, he could be anyone. Well, Purdy, are you sure he actually is your husband? Well, you can't be too careful these days, can you? No, but seriously, Purdy, we do what it takes to stay happy, don't we? And the happy mask is scientifically sculpted to keep you happy. You see, when your facial muscles are shaped in a smile, well, you can't help feeling happy. Now, normally, I would suggest he take more joy. But some people do have a slight intolerance to joy. Now, if your husband is one of these people, he may just be doing what he needs in order to keep himself up. Certainly, if he's having nightmares without his happy face, well, why on earth should he sleep without it, when he can sleep with it and not have nightmares? So, come on, have a little conjugal consideration and appreciate his good qualities.
Right?
Assuming he is, after all, not an imposter. Thank you for writing, Bertie. This one is from Poppy Findlay of Twerton Manor. Dear Uncle Jack, I have a lovely row of tulips in front of my house. I should say, I used to have, because they're half gone, and I found a great big pile of tulip tops in the rubbish. Has some animal come and eaten half my tulip bulbs? Is it a badger? How can I catch it and eat it? Well, Poppy,
Good question.
I'm sorry to tell you, it's extremely unlikely that you have a badger, given that the tulip tops were placed in the rubbish. I think that you might actually be dealing with a hungry human. Did you know that you can eat tulip bulbs? Yes. Actually, there's a fabulous and hilarious story from the Dutch tulip mania of the 1600s. See, there was this sailor who visited a friend of his, and he saw an onion on his table, and he ate it. Now, it turned out to be a rare tulip bulb worth hundreds of guineas. And He ate it. Can you imagine the kerfuffle that he heard? Well, I hope he enjoyed it. Actually, there's no word what happened to the sailor, but I bet he took the next ship out. Hope he wasn't hanged. Yes. Anyway, do you by chance happen to live near the Garden District? Sometimes the unfortunate souls who live near there come into the village and, well, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was them that ate your tulip bulbs. But I doubt there's anything you can do about it, except watch your remaining flowers and call the police if you see anyone near them. In the meantime, if you could eat tulip bulbs, you could probably eat the tops too with a bit of cooking. Well, it couldn't hurt anyway, eh? Well, I'm afraid
Maybe.
that's the end of our time. Tune in again next time, when I hope you'll join us and we'll answer all your questions about life in Wellington Wells. I'll see you soon.
Alright, that's that one, guys. Now for the news hour of 2. Let's see what this one's about. Voila. Let's do it. Back on with Jack, the lad.
Every now and then, you might see someone who seems to be sleeping on the path or even in the middle of the road. Now, we all know that the middle of the road is not the most comfortable place to sleep, and it's rather inconvenient for the rest of us. We might trip on them. So, what's going on? Well, the first thing to find out is if they're sleeping or if they're just lying there. Are their eyes open? If you shake them, do they make sounds? Let's suppose their eyes are open and they seem responsive to you. There's a possibility that they're feeling too sad to get up. In that case, you're dealing with a downer. And we all know what to do with a downer, don't we? Offer them joy. If they won't take it, round up a few people near you and make sure they take it. If their eyes are closed, but they seem responsive, then they may be sick. It's probably best to prop them up in a building and let a doctor know. You don't want to spend too much time with a sick person. You might get sick too. And doctors know just what to do with sick people, after all. And you don't. But
That's true.
what to do if they don't respond? It's possible that they've passed on. Now, there's no need for you to deal with a dead body on the street. The authorities are fully capable of dealing with any deceased citizens and will properly dispose of their remains. And what you should definitely not do is stand there gawping. You don't want to draw a crowd, and it's not healthy to stare at a dead body. It might bring you down. So just leave the body there and move on. And if you see a lot of people walking past someone in the middle of the street, well, you can safely trust that they've already realized there's nothing further they can do for that person. Just pretend that the person in the street is not there. Sooner or later they won't be. Take it from me, Uncle Jack. What's done is done, and it's best if we all move on. You'll be glad you did.
Good advice. From our friend old goody chap Jack. Alright, news hour 8. Here we go, guys.
Everyone is talking about the shocking thing that happened yesterday. You know what I'm talking about. I have it on good authority that it was not at all what you might have thought it was. And in any event, the responsible parties are taking steps to make sure it never happens again. In the meantime, keep calm and carry on. And don't forget to take your joy.
Always.
And the weather report is rain, rain, go away, come back again some other day. Remember, gentlemen, while rainwater goes down smooth in a whiskey, it does not contain joy. So, if you like to collect rainwater for tempering your constitutional, please remember to adjust your dose accordingly. And the weather is delightfully sunny, inside and out. Who doesn't love an English spring? I expect to see nothing but smiles out there. In fact, anything but smiles out there is strictly forbidden. Also, extremely unlikely, unless someone's happy face falls off. Can you imagine that? Better make sure it's not you.
Right?
In case you might have heard a loud explosion coming from the general direction of the Victory Memorial Camp, don't worry, it wasn't someone blowing themselves up on the minefield. It was merely the members of the Home Army testing their ordnance. Mortar shells apparently don't last forever, and there's nothing more frustrating than dropping a shell on the enemy and it turning out to be a dud. So they must regularly test their supplies. That's all it was. No fatalities at all, and no worries. You may have noticed one of our favourite shops boarded up. There's no need to worry. We're told the proprietor, You know who I'm talking about. He's renovating, and he doesn't want anyone to see it until it's done. At least that's what he says. I suspect he may simply have gone on holidays and doesn't want us to know. So if you notice a certain person comes back to Earth looking remarkably well rested, we'll know the truth, won't we? Our local football team has done it again. A thrilling victory over some tough rivals. You've never seen such exciting footwork. And they really use their heads. Of course, it's nothing less than we expect from our finest. If you see them, do buy them a pint for me.
Good to know.
I'm sorry to say tomorrow's cricket match has been postponed due to uncertain weather. We can't very well play cricket in a typhoon, so we'll let you know the revised schedule as soon as we receive the details. In Hamelin, our favourite butcher shop has a very special today. Is it pork chops? Is it pepperoni? Is it filet mignon? Is it roast chicken? Or is it just several cases of fresh, delicious V-meat? Now that I've got your mouth watering, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to go visit yourself. And do give your favourite butcher my regards. No one slices like he does.
Good to know.
There has been some confusion about the pass required to enter the city centre of Wellington Wells. To obtain your pass, you simply need to present yourself in person with a recent photograph and a typed explanation of your purpose at the Department of Public Order. Simple, isn't it? That's all you have to do. The department is located at 5 Wapping Road, near the corner of Bart Street, in the centre of Wellington Wells. I hope that clarifies everything.
It does, Jack. Thank you.
There has been some excitement at the Victory Memorial Camp. An unauthorized person was intercepted attempting to plant tulips around the chain link fence. Fortunately, she set off all the alarms and was quickly apprehended. Imagine how alarming it would have been if she'd not been caught. Kaboom! Yes. Now, the leadership of the Home Army hastens to remind the public that the Victory Camp and the surrounding relics of our heroic resistance have been preserved in its immediate post-victory state. That means unmarked minefields and unexploded ordnance every which way. She could have got herself blown up. So don't be a tourist fatality. No one except members of the Home Army in good standing has any purpose in the memorial camp. And if you want to plant flowers, how about planting them in town where we can all see them?
Right.
Some viewers have asked me, how can I find out more about the resistance and the victory? Now, I always tell them, why on earth would you want to know more about the war years? Their ancient history, and our lives are so much better now. But, due to popular demand, we now have a book with all the answers. It's called The Story of Our Victory. And it's written by me, Jack Worthing. It's a lovely little book with cheery illustrations and quotations from all your favourite wartime heroes. And it tells you absolutely everything you should ever want to know about the war and our glorious victory. If it's not in the book, you don't need to know it. Some viewers have asked, how do I join the brave soldiers of the Home Army? Now, I've asked the Home Army leadership to respond, and they would like you to know that the Home Army has a full complement of highly trained warriors ready to repel any future invasion by our enemies, or even our friends. So there's no need to join anything. You can just be epatred by smiling at everyone you meet. Now, go about your day and enjoy our lovely English weather, whatever it is.
Thank you. You too, Jack. See ya. On to the next one, guys. 90 Night 7. Let's do it, guys. And then one more, and that shall do it, guys.
Well, it's getting late, isn't it? And it's time for all good wellies to cuddle up in bed. You don't want to be out after dark, do you? Foggy Jack might come for you. And then where would you be?
Right?
In several places at once, wouldn't you? Would you like me to read you a bedtime story? Of course you would. Well, curl up in front of the telly, and Uncle Jack will tell you a story.
Can't wait. Tell us the story, Jack.
Tonight's story is called Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time there lived a poor woodcutter and his wife and his 2 aged parents. The old man's name was Hansel, and the old woman's name was Gretel. there was little to eat, and when a hard winter came across the land, so hard that the wolves prowled the crossroads at night, the woodcutter could no longer feed his parents. He lay in bed with his wife, and they discussed what to do. The woodcutter's wife said, "Here's what we do, liebling. We will lead them deep into the woods, yeah? To gather the firewood, okay? And then we will trick them, and we will leave them there. And natürlich, there will be enough bread for the both of us." For you see, they were not her parents, and they didn't particularly like her. Now at first the woodcutter said, "I don't know, maybe I should leave you in the woods instead." But
Right.
his wife said, "Oh, it's a funny man. No, they're old and they do not work anymore, okay?" And the woodcutter had to admit, she had a point. What the woodcutter did not know was that his parents had overheard the entire conversation, for they had very good hearing for old people, and they'd not been sleeping well. And Hansel said to Gretel, "Our son's going to leave us in the woods to starve. What shall we do?" Gretel said, "Let us gather bright pebbles by the light of the moon." The next day at dawn, the woodcutter and his wife led his parents deep, deep into the woods, deeper than they'd ever gone to cut firewood. The wife made a fire for them and said, "Rest by the fire while we chop some wood." And soon enough, they heard the sound of chopping. Hansel and Gretel thought perhaps their son had not left them after all. But late in the evening, the wind died down, and so did the sound of chopping.
Oh, what
For
would
it was only
happen?
a branch that the woodcutter had rigged to bang against a tree in the wind. But Hansel and Gretel, they dropped bright pebbles all along the path into the woods, and they were able to follow them all the way back to the woodcutter's house, which had been their house when they raised him. When they came to the door, the woodcutter's wife, well, she was alarmed to see them. "You wicked people! Your son has been crying ever since you left him. He thought you did not want to come back." That night the woodcutter told his wife, "It's a gift from God. We don't have to leave my parents in the woods after all." "Oh, you fool! Idiot!" said the woodcutter's wife. "Do we have more bread heute Abend than we did yesterday?" And the woodcutter had already agreed once to abandon his parents, so he didn't really have a leg to stand on, did he? So he agreed to lead them out into the woods the next morning. That night, Hansel went to gather bright pebbles by the light of the moon, but the woodcutter's wife had locked the door, so he couldn't gather any. In the morning, Hansel begged his son for a crust of bread to eat on the forest path, but he did not eat it. Instead, as his son led him deep into the woods, he broke off small bits and dropped them on the forest path. All along the way, Hansel spoke to his son of happier days, when they both had been young and the land was fat. He was hoping to soften his son's heart, and the woodcutter, well, he smiled and nodded. But when you're going to kill a man, it costs nothing to be polite.
Right.
And again, the woodcutter's wife made them a fire and made them lie down and rest by it, while the woodcutter and his wife went into the forest to chop wood. But they heard no branch banging against a tree, for the time was past for pretenses. Hansel said to Gretel, "Let us find our way home before night falls, because it's very cold and they're not coming back for us."
They're not coming back for us, I guess. Aw.
We'll have to continue this delightful story tomorrow night.
Well, darn it, Jack.
Did Hansel and Gretel find their way home? And did the woodcutter welcome them back? And did they all live happily ever after?
We'll never know.
I hope not. What kind of fairy tale do you think this is?
Right?
Tune in tomorrow to find out.
Well, tune in tomorrow, guys. We'll find out. Or maybe not. Alright, last reel, and then that shall do it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it out, guys, and end it on this. Hit that thumbs up, guys, if you liked the video, and leave a comment in that comment section. We'll be down there and talk it up, and check out We Happy Few when it comes out tomorrow. It's all going to be awesome. It's cool it came from Kickstarter all the way to now, so definitely check it out. Totally cool. And thank you for checking me out, and hit that subscribe button for all you new people to help out a gamer and to keep up to date with my videos. And here we go, guys. Here's the gameplay trailer. What the game's like. And y'all keep on gaming like always.
Wakey, everyone. It's another fabulous day in Wellington Wells. It's your dear friend, Uncle Jack, with a few brief tips that'll help you get along. The most important one, of course, is don't forget to take your joy. Drink plenty of water, too. Good thing there's joy in the water, eh? And eat plenty of nutritious food. May I be the first to recommend our local delicacy, the meat. Of course, be very careful to stay away from downers.
I just want them to stop screaming.
Fortunately, most of these sad lunatics live in the Garden District, and no decent person goes there. It's full of dangerous maniacs who won't take their joy.
Good night!
Obey all official signs. They're for your safety and protection. Make friends with your fellow citizens. Talk to them.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Visit them. Wellies love a friendly guest. We Wellies do love our games. It's important to stay young at heart. So use our playgrounds. After all, if we don't, who on earth will? Obey police officers. They're there to protect you. Remember, they're the only ones who are supposed to be out at night. Wellington Wells is always a delightful place. If you just do like everyone else is doing and take your joy, you'll have a splendid time. And if you don't...
One less mouth to feed, eh? I think that's the best one of all. Very good.